Morning, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting me.
Pablo, glad to have you. Would you prefer Sojapek or Pablo? What would you prefer?
Pablo is fine. So JPEG is my pseudonym, but I don't use it much. It's just a funny name. So Pablo is cool.
Great. I got scared that I doxed you, but it's on your Telegram, so I felt
No,
okay
no,
saying
it's
it.
on my Telegram. There's no problem.
Okay,
I'm already
perfect.
doxed.
Yeah, same. I'm not particularly shy myself. Cool. Just give a couple people a few minutes to trickle in. I believe Sharp is joining us shortly as well, so I'll bring him up on stage. And yeah, let's give everyone 2-3 minutes.
Nice.
All right, I feel pretty good about this. If Sharp shows up, we'll add him up, and if not, happy to continue as is. All right. Pablo, let's kick things off. Appreciate you joining us today. This is our second AMA of our Core Spotlight series, where we are talking to DAOs and protocols interested in trying to win a Tokemak reactor as part of our Core 3, our third event in the series, where we're going to have Toka stakers choose our next series of reactors. And the whole point of these is to try to bring up protocols and have them introduce themselves and talk about ways we can work together and what strategies they might employ or what benefits there might be to Toka stakers. And so just a free-form conversation. I'll have a couple general questions, but looking forward to any audience suggestions of questions they want to ask in our Core 3 channel. Feel free to drop them in. Otherwise, happy to kick things off. Pablo, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So maybe a small intro of myself for those who don't know me yet, and then I could speak a bit about Angle. I don't know how you want this conversation to happen, but my name is Pablo. I'm fully doxed, so anything new here today. I'm based in Paris, France. You will hear it from my French accent. I'm a core contributor and co-founder of the Angle Protocol. We have launched AG which has become one of the biggest Euro stablecoin in the market.
That's great. Yeah, I was going to ask you for an intro. So can you give a little bit more background on Angle, like what led you to start the protocol? I'm curious, like the background and
Sure.
what led you to that. How long you guys have been in operation?
Okay, great. So I came pretty late in DeFi. I was a student at Stanford University in the US, and before that I was an engineer, like a student in Polytechnique in France. Came in DeFi late 2020. At this point, I was getting yield on USD stablecoins, and I realized it was a super bad period for the dollar with respect to the euro. And I realized I was subject to exchange risk when getting yield on USD stablecoins. So I thought, well, we need to create a euro stablecoin. Came to see some Stanford friends about that. And we started to think around the idea of making a euro stablecoin protocol, and more generally around the idea of building stablecoins with deep liquidity for anyone in the world to interact with DeFi without having to care about change risk. Really, the focus of Angle is to bring not only USD denominated assets to DeFi and to make it kind of more inclusive to its users. So from this idea, we started to iterate around like how we can make a euro stablecoin and a stable, like a more generalizable stablecoin protocol. We launched, so we raised some funds for it. We raised the $5 million round with A16Z, and we launched our protocol on mainnet after several audits, several iterations on it in November 3rd, 2021 to be exact. We rapidly grew to above 100 million TVL and to AG Euro, our only stablecoin at the moment, being one of the biggest euro stablecoin. And since then, we've been focusing first on improving the use cases of AG Euro, making sure it's integrated in DeFi. So AG Euro is a stablecoin that is accessible on many different chains. You have it on Ethereum mainnet, of course, but also on Solana, on Polygon, on Avalanche, on Phantom, on Harmony, BSC, like every chain AG Euro should be there. So this has been one focus. We have also tried to improve our governance system. We have a VE voting escrow model with our token. So the governance token of the protocol is it's called VE Angle. We distribute a portion of the revenue made by the protocol to VE Angle holders to incentivize them to contribute to the platform and to align interest on the long term. So every week we're distributing around $50K to VE Angle stakers. And at the moment, so stablecoin has held super well. We have deep liquidity on Curve, on Uniswap. We are on Aave, on many different places. And at the moment, we're focusing on improving the use cases of what you can do on AG0 through a new borrowing module. I could later explain how the stablecoin protocol works, but we are going to allow people to borrow AG0 out of volatile collateral assets, a bit like in Abracadabra, except that we have reworked the liquidations to make it far more efficient and to improve the borrower experience. And this will enable us to allow native minting on almost any chain and to launch new stablecoins further ahead. So that's for the Angle protocol in an overview. I know it may be a lot, so if you have any question, please don't hesitate to let me know.
Yeah, this is super great. I want to dig in on one thing you mentioned. You set out to create one of the stable coins with, I believe you said, the deepest liquidity. And you mentioned you're on Curve and Uniswap. So that ties nicely into my next question is, what made you interested in trying to get set up with a Tokemak reactor? I'm wondering if you can talk more about how you're approaching liquidity, how you've been thinking about it, and what about Tokemak got you really interested or excited potentially?
So I won't speak much about AG0 because, of course, it would bring us a lot of value to have it as a pair reactor, like LUSD, Frax, and so on. About the Angle token, we have liquidity, which is the governance token and which is the point of focus today. We have liquidity on SushiSwap, like AG0 Angle liquidity. But this is liquidity that we are heavily incentivizing with our Angle token. So it's rather expensive liquidity for us. Liquidity is deep, but it's not as deep as what we would like it to be. It's super expensive to buy the Angle token. And we are facing some quite high price actions. Like the price action has not been that good recently, even though it's improving, because like people who wanted to buy were kind of restrained for doing so, because like when they wanted to buy large amounts, they were facing a high slippage. And so because we want to build liquidity for Angle without having to we want to incentivize it, but not as much as what we could do as what we are doing now. And because we feel that we could have way more volume and it could help buyers, but also sellers to take advantage of deeper liquidity, like Tokemak is the natural place for us to go to create this Angle liquidity in the long term.
Got it. So I want to clarify some terms and then dig in on something you mentioned, which I'm super glad you did. You beat me to the punch. So we're talking about getting you set up potentially with an Angle token reactor. So it would be a reactor to help liquidity for your native governance token. But you mentioned pair reactors, which in Tokemak are what we have for stable coins. We have G.O.M in there. It'll be a trading pair on the other side of a more volatile asset, something like a governance token for a protocol. So I'm curious what your interest in getting a pair reactor for AG EUR would be, your stable coin. What would the benefits from your eyes be for a pair reactor with your stable coin?
So one thing, so first from our side, the benefit is that we're launching a stable coin. We want it to be used in DeFi because we feel it really brings value to its holders. And so having this stable coin paired with other assets, it tightens the integrations of this stablecoin in the ecosystem, but it also creates an inherent yield for owning this stablecoin. Since like if you can make value by if you can make yield by LPing this token, then it brings you value and it creates demand for it. But why would a DAO want to be paired with AG0? So the reason I'd say is everything we are building with AG0, like the protocol we currently have, it allows you to swap to USDC without any slippage. And so rather than having, and then from USDC, you can get access to everything, but you can also swap to Fei, to Frax, and soon to ETH and DAI DAI is already supported, but soon to ETH without any slippage. And so by just pairing to your token to AG0, then you can enjoy, you can swap your token to AG0 and then swap AG0 within the Angle protocol to another token. Like you can get way deeper liquidity than what you already have, than what you could get on Curve and on Uniswap. This is one thing. Another thing is that some DAOs want their tokens to be paired to be denominated in euro, and so having the token denominated in AG euro makes sense. Paired with AG euro makes sense for that, rather than having to price, I don't know, if in dollar you may want to price it in euro because you're based in Europe and you're thinking in euro. This is a secondary, I'd say, utility use case, but it also brings value. And the other use case, which is, I think, super important, is if you want to take a bet on the euro, if you want to short the euro, you are better and like to short the value of your token with respect to the euro. If you have like some sort of protocol that allows you to take leverage, like let's say you have the token paired with AG euro, then if you have a deep liquidity pair token AG euro, like taking leverage becomes super easy because like it becomes easy to swap AG euro for token. Like let's say you have token, you borrow AG euro against that, then swap AG euro for this token and get leverage on your token. Then you're leveraged to the euro against the euro variation of the token price, which may be weaker than the dollar variation of it. And so it gets interesting in that aspect. So I don't know if that answers your question. I see three main reasons to summarize. Infinite liquidity with the Angle protocol, which means that you don't get any slippage. Having your assets priced in euro, and then easiness to get leverage. And obviously there are the other like obvious use case, like you are one reach away from the immediate integrations you have thanks to AG euro, the yield you can get on curve and on convex. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, I'm just super curious to hear your thoughts on the topic. I believe Sharp's article, the Kingmaker article he wrote, stablecoin projects generally are in search of two main things. One, it's maintaining their peg. Curve does a great job when they have really deep liquidity for their stablecoin. But then once your peg is maintained over time, you have to find distribution. And so that article basically summarized that, like, yeah, to make it, you need people to demand your stable. You need them to use it in the market. And that's why like Tokemak would be such a good option for pair reactors and stables in there, because you could pair it to with any asset and incentivize that use across DeFi.
So we would be I think we would Tokemak would be a great value addition to Angle, but we would also bring value to Tokemak, I think, if we had a pair reactor for AG euro, for the reasons I mentioned before.
That's great. Sharp, any comments on that point now that you're with us in the stage? If you are talking, I cannot hear you, so we will go on until your mic is good, but feel free to chime in anytime. All right, he's rejoining. So let's see, I'm going down my list. Hey, I gotcha.
Hey, what's up? So first of all, we have discussed already a lot of possible collaborations with Pablo, and AG euro has already been discussed. So there are a lot of strategies that can be applied. The addition of AG euro is something that has been postponed also due to the integration of new tokenomics, but it's definitely something that is very, very interesting. So as Pablo said, we can support each other in multiple ways. So imagine that we start to deploy pairs with AG euro. Well, Tokemak has a strategy for reward accumulation where we essentially want to incentivize long-term partnerships with the protocols that we integrate with. So obviously, we would join the meta lockers of V Angle, and essentially it would be possible to decouple the volume that the pools that are paired with AG euro are bringing versus the AG euro that we are effectively acquiring for Tokemak. Additionally, we also allow Angle to essentially maximize the distribution of its own stablecoin, and holders of AG euro would be able to seek yield using Tokemak. So there are a lot of possible paths even beyond Angle Reactor that I see that are possible with Angle. And I should emphasize that Angle is doing a great work, and we didn't go in depth into the architecture of Angle that I'm sure that Pablo would like to get into, but I think that that might be a heavy topic for the audience. But there are multiple ways to cooperate, and just like Pablo said, we can support each other in this effort.
Thanks, Sharp. Fully aligned with that.
And by the way, I'm also based in Europe, so we do understand the exposure to euro instead of US dollars. And there is an issue within the DeFi space, which is a distribution in the Forex spectrum that's still far from the end state. So right now we see absolute domination of USD denominated stablecoins, but that will naturally change with time. So it's great to see that you guys are positioned to take the euro part of the market, and having that diversity also on Tokemak is something that we should start to consider early on, and also start to accumulate Angle if it's possible to integrate with you guys. And by the way, we had StakeDAO present yesterday, so we were discussing liquid lockers. And what are your thoughts on liquid lockers for VAngle?
I'll speak about my thoughts personally. I know that in the core team, we don't have exactly the same views. I feel that anyone building on top of Angle brings value to the system, even if they are building things with designs which could be improved. I personally really like the StakeDAO liquid locker because many people are not locking Angle tokens to VAngle because they feel that there is not enough exit liquidity at this point. But like for me, it's a no-brainer. You know, like you have a system that is built to incentivize long-term commitment. But if you can keep this long-term commitment without having to, while keeping the liquidity of it, it brings a lot of value to all ecosystem, to all people in the ecosystem. So yeah, liquid lockers are super important for us. StakeDAO has built one, but we welcome anyone to build its liquid locker on top of Angle. We have some requirements, we have a governance framework to whitelist liquid lockers, but it's pretty we're not super strict, and so yeah, it brings value. There are, I think, the ultimate liquid locker hasn't been found yet. StakeDAO model can be improved, just like Convex model can be improved, and there's a lot of innovation to be done in this field. I feel it's not our role to contribute, but more our role to support new ideas. That's what we are trying to help StakeDAO, and that's what we are trying to help any liquid locker which is getting built, because it's good overall for the ecosystem.
Yes, ultimately, I believe that protocols are the ones that seek a long-term commitment for cooperation with other protocols, and they are willing to vote lock their tokens for the maximum amount of time. However, for retail users, we need secondary markets that provide the exit liquidity that is necessary to essentially maintain flexibility within those positions. So I think that there is also a lot of development being made on this front. There was a really interesting article by Delphi that touched on this for Astro. And I think that there are new iterations that we are going to find to be exciting, but ultimately it's critical to have this exit liquidity, and liquid lockers are an interesting solution, but I'm sure that as Angle progresses, we will see more derivatives being built on top of the Angle that will allow the retail user to get access to it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the yield of VAngle was somewhere around like 60% APR. Am I right?
Right now, it's 40% because the price slightly increased. But yes, the protocol, the Angle protocol, we're not super
really high.
And we are not the most famous ones, you know. Like we're, I think, a good engineering team, but not the best in terms of marketing. The protocol is super profitable. Like we have 130 million in reserves, on which we are getting like a 5% yield. Well, a bit less than that at the moment. But the protocol is making a lot of revenue. And so since it's like, and this revenue, half of it goes to VAngle holders, but not many people locked their Angle tokens. In the end, so those who locked their Angle token made a lot and are making a lot of money. So there's a trade-off. People don't want to lock, but they're seeing the APR. It's not as straightforward, you know, to get access to this APR, because you have to commit for 4 years, and not everyone is ready to do this.
And in a hypothetical scenario where you guys are among the Reactor winners, it would make all sense to get immediately a C.o.R.E integrated to provide liquidity to Angle, and also support those gateways and allow Tokemak to accumulate and vote lock Angle. Right now, is it necessary to essentially whitelist Tokemak to become the Angle locker?
We could if it's a multi-sig, we can we can whitelist you, but it would we have already whitelisted StakeDAO, because their DAO is also accumulating Angle tokens, So we are incentivizing all DAOs that wanted to own VE Angle, and if we are confident enough, and if you manage to convince the community, but I guess that if that you'll make a point and that it won't be that hard. You can easily be whitelisted in the Angle protocol to own VE Angle tokens.
And now, just out of curiosity, are you also going to fork the inflation out of euro with some kind of product that tracks our CPI, or is that not among the future plans?
It's in discussion. We have many things to ship in the meantime, like our new borrowing module, crush and deployment. It's not going to be that hard.
Module is.
Yeah.
I read the white paper. I read the white paper for the borrow module, and I think that that's something that will scale a lot AG Euro, and I'm also eager to use it.
Yeah, great. I mean, thanks for this, and that's the reason why we're building this. But the borrowing module could support an inflation-resistant stablecoin. I don't really. I mean, there is the Forex approach, the Volt approach. I'm not so convinced by their approach, even though it works. It's fine. I would rework the Oracle a bit, like the way they are tracking CPI. I don't think it's robust enough. It could be manipulated. So what would take us most time if we decide to do this would be to have a solid Oracle. But once we have the Oracle, it's super easy for us to launch this.
Awesome.
Love it. Thanks for that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, I got a question yesterday submitted by LOL Paul 240, who I see in the audience here today. Pablo, could you describe what the most successful version of Angle looks like and what it would take to get you there?
So in terms of market cap or TVL?
What's your best case scenario? Like, where do you want to be in 2 years? If everything works out as you hope, as you intend, or potentially even better than your expectations?
So we want to be the most integrated Euro stablecoin used by all institutions across Europe to get yield. We want to be systemic, with deep liquidity across many different chains on the Euro, with everyone using our products for leverage, because we try to significantly improve over what Abracadabra is doing. So integrations, being integrated with everyone, like really when you're launching a protocol and you want some sort of stablecoin, you are using USDC as a no-brainer, but we want people to use AG Euro as a no-brainer because we are robust, reliable, and also like something with many different use cases. So in terms of TVL, I think in 2 years, if we are not at over $1 billion TVL, I would consider it like it won't be a success. And then have AG Euro used in CeFi, as a layer of payment. That's the end goal for me. What we're doing at the moment in DeFi is super cool, but vision goes way beyond that. We want Angle to be thought like of a central bank, like Frax does. We want to revolutionize the way payments are done, like Visa, MasterCard are taking 1.5% fee on transactions. But with stablecoins, you don't have this, and we really want to develop the use cases of stablecoins out of DeFi while having AG Euro be super present in DeFi. So it's like multi-billion-dollar TVL, many use cases, and then they're like across all chain with no friction, to migrate liquidity, and while keeping a robust and safe protocol accumulating revenue. This is for Euro, and then like the success for me in 2 years would be to have this for Euro, and then to have repeated this across many different stablecoins. I don't think I'm ready to go the USD way for regulatory reasons, but to launch like a CHF, GPY, inflation-resistant stablecoin, and if we manage to impose ourselves as one of the leading stablecoin providers out there, it would be a success for us.
It's something that we should also let the community know, is that despite the fact that you are just focused on the AG Euro now, you can expand to any other part of the Forex spectrum as long as you have an Oracle. So that's also part of your expansion plans, right?
Yes. So we had a big learning curve on the Euro. We launched the protocol. It was a new model. Like we don't only launch new stablecoins, we launch new stablecoin protocols with interesting designs. we had a lot to learn, and that's why we focused a lot on the euro. But now we'll be more and more ready to support new stablecoins in the coming month. And success. What I want to say is that success of the Angle protocol is success of its stablecoins. And just like Frax, if Frax is used, FXS gains in value. It's the same for us. And if we manage, I would also want to build a yield product for euro stablecoin holders, just like Anchor for USD, in a way that is fully sustainable, like from real yield and not Luna yield. I want, so in a way that is sustainable, like the DAI savings rate, but with a consistent high yield.
Mm-hmm.
So that institutions which have money in the euro, rather than keeping it at the bank, they would be better off putting it in the Angle protocol. So yeah, that's what I'm targeting.
I also heard in a Twitter Spaces where you were present recently. I can't recall exactly which one was it, where they were discussing what was your take on the impact of CBDCs and how would that affect AG0. And I believe that you end up saying that ultimately the end user wouldn't know what he was actually using. He would just do a euro-denominated transfer, and the transfer would work. I love that vision, and I would like also for you to touch a little bit on that, the abstraction of the underlying technology.
So what I'm saying applies to stablecoin, but it also applies to protocols like Tokemak. What we're building is protocols. Mm-hmm. And when you are interacting with TikTok, you don't know which protocols you don't know that it's the HTTPS or any other communication protocol that is used. In the long term, people will be sending money, people will be deploying liquidity without even knowing like that they're using Angle or that they're using Tokemak. And so for me, in the long term, people will be using CBDC, AG0, without even making the difference, because all will be hidden, and all this layer of complexity will be hidden. And that's why I'm confident about the success of non-CBDC stablecoins in the long term.
And we can already see, even within the DeFi space, a huge spectrum of stablecoins that will keep on growing, and it's definitely a very interesting development to watch for.
Sure. Yeah, it's exciting to see how it's going to evolve. Like no one has much visibility here. People are all playing the DeFi game, but I think we should aim for further than that.
Pablo, got one question from the audience. Crocodile Playing Piano asks, can you help provide background on the motivation for the name Angle for your protocol?
It's a bad joke. No, I mean there is a bad joke. We are French. And in French, coin means like a corner. I mean, coin, it's in French. It's corner, and so angle. That's the bad joke. And it also embodies the angle. It's something which is rigid, it's geometry. It embodies something which is robust, reliable, which you can always trust because it's mathematical. And this is the image we want to convey. We want people, and because this is how we are on a day-to-day basis, we try to ship things which is super safe. No Ponzi, over collateralized, super like not rigid but robust and reliable, like geometry and math are. And so, besides the funny joke, I mean not funny joke. This is why we are in this geometry world.
So, Crocodile Playing Piano. Now you know Angle is solid.
He says the joke is horrible, but then now he's buying Angle. So you got to convert based on that answer.
Great. But you can always jump in DM if you want more explanations and on the Angle story. Many things happening at Angle. Not only like choosing funny names or not funny names. Like we are constantly building, constantly shipping. That's what we know how to do. We are less good at being present on CT, but eventually it will come one day.
Love it. And you guys will be at ETHCC in Paris in July, correct?
Yes. We are Paris based. We have an office in Paris. So if there's any community member or a team member who wants to go by our offices, we welcome people to meet with us, because it's important for us to meet the wide crypto community, and we may host different events.
Would love to attend. Sharp and I will both be there in July, so looking forward to seeing you in a few months.
Great, guys.
And by the way, Pablo, the Angle borrowing module, like if I recall correctly, like it's similar to the borrowing mechanism that Maker utilizes with DAI, right?
Yes, but like yeah, it's similar in some way, except that it's built with features to make it slightly more efficient. In Maker, liquidations are super inefficient
Exactly.
because you're giving away a wide portion of the collateral you brought. And we designed a liquidation mechanism that doesn't penalize so much the person that is getting liquidated, but that also rewards the liquidator. So this is one of the main change. This mechanism is built to support leverage. Like in one transaction, you'll be able to get leverage in a super smooth manner. That's another aspect of it. And we like Maker is something which is it's kind of expensive to borrow with Maker. And in the case of Angle, since liquidations have been designed to be super efficient, and since the module has been designed to be capital efficient, like to borrow, to lend, to borrow, to get leverage, we believe we could grow more demand than what DAI has.
What types of collateral are you considering to support initially?
In the first place, initially we'll just have like 3 different collateral types: wrapped ETH, wrapped Bitcoin, and wrapped staked ETH. But then we could be super aggressive. We could accept CVX LP tokens. We could accept DAO's tokens. Like we could even have Toke as a token supported in this borrowing module to allow people to take leverage on Toke, for instance.
And T assets, for example, that would be also really cool. And tech season is upon me, so I would love to eventually see a product on Angle where I can use my wrapped STETH to essentially collateralize a loan denominated in euro, because I got to pay my taxes in euros while gaining yield at the same time from STETH's base yield. Yeah, very exciting.
So, yeah. This is the goal of it.
Basically, self-repaying loans, everyone.
Yeah. We don't brand it that way yet, but we should. Because
people get more attracted to it.
Yeah. If you make more money, that's why like yield-bearing tokens as collateral also makes sense. If you make more money on your collateral than on the rest.
Because personally,
but the interest rate would be like 0.5%, I think, around that, to borrow H0 against the wrapped staked ETH.
And it's way lower than what Maker currently charges. Like I've used Maker's Vault for wrapped STETH to borrow against my STETH, and I know that with Angle I would probably pay less or earn more in terms of yield while maintaining my full exposure to ETH. But no financial advice right here. Please, guys, do not try to gamble your tax money.
You should wait for it to be live. I hope it's going to be live in a month. We're really in the last steps of preparing it. We are rebranding Angle. Keeping the Angle name but changing the colors to make our apps more visual. We are finishing up the app that will allow you to interact with this borrowing module. But when it's good, we will release everything. It's the module is almost done with its audit. And when it's good, we are just going to release everything, and we will go big.
Yeah, super bullish on the borrowing module, and really hope to see you guys achieving new forms of collateral quite quickly. Yeah, great, congratulations for all the work that you've been doing, Pablo.
Thank you, Sharp. Thank you so much. So I don't know if you have other questions, guys. On our side, and what I'm defining today is so the Angle protocol as a whole, but also the value having Angle as a token reactor, like the value it could bring to the Toke community. There is not much liquidity on the Angle token. To make there would be for sure a lot of fees on the Angle token due to the future volume on it. And since it's the backbone of the Angle protocol, if the Angle protocol takes off, and currently the price of the Angle token is pretty like super low, corresponding to the revenue we are making on it. And so if the Angle token is appreciating in value, Toke holders will also be making revenue out of it due to the it would benefit the whole community, I guess.
Well said. Hey, Pablo, that's it on questions on my side. I really enjoyed listening to you and Sharp talk, and for having you today. I appreciate you joining. And Yeah, if anyone wanted to learn more about Angle or keep tabs on your progress, how can they follow you?
They can join our Discord. Maybe I can drop an invite link for people to join easily. So Discord is the best place. Like all the core team is on Discord, and everyone. So let me find the toke. Oh shit, can't find it. I mean, Discord search functions are really, really bad. I'm really sorry for this. Okay. Yeah, no, back at it. So I'm posting on C.o.R.E the link of the Angle Protocol. I don't know if it's the right place to publish this, but you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram. But Discord is where we're most responsive, and we publish weekly recaps. So you don't have to activate notifications. You just have to connect once in a while to follow our weekly recaps to see what's going on with Angle. And yeah, you should have the gist of it.
Great. Yeah, everyone should go check that out in the C.o.R.E channel. That is the right spot. So, Pablo, really appreciate you joining and introducing Angle to the pilots. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Sharp. It was a pleasure being here. And yeah, looking forward to answering the Tokemak questions about Angle and being part of this C.o.R.E event.
Thank you so much, Pablo.
Bye-bye, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.